Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good morning, Whovians. I was hyped up on sugar. I made cupcakes earlier, so I've had like extra icing and extra cupcake sugary goodness, all so I can stay up nice and late for you, my fellow Whovians. Please say hello in the comments so I know you're there. And welcome. I'm so happy you're here to watch the premiere of Doctor Who season 2. Dum, dum, dum. It's going to be dropping in about 10 minutes time. This will be a much less boring 10 minutes if some of you say something. If you are watching on the Traveling TARDIS' X feed, consider popping over to the YouTube channel. It is a little easier for you to make comments. You can technically comment on X, and I think it will let me see it, but it is way, way easier if you do so. Woo, that's not what I wanted. Way easier if you do it from there. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is that we're going to do that, and I've got. Well, I'll just do a little bit of a preview of something I've been working on while we wait for that to drop here in 9 minutes time. Bring a second camera in. So I have opened a few Kraken dice recently, and I've also got some deck sleeves by them in my same red that I have here, so that'll be a little bit awkward. But I figured to open these up, take a look, see what I think of these while we wait for Doctor Who to start. So I've oh, oops. Of course now I split that, which is what I was very much trying not to do. I've got some Star Wars Unlimited cards here, so I can sleeve those up. It's 100 sleeves split into 2 packs of 50, which is nice because you don't have to have all of them done at the same time. Pull that out. Ooh, I like that. It's got a nice texture to the back of it. It's not just the front of your usual poly sleeve, but I like that texture on the back. That's probably going to help with the with shuffling it. Pull a couple of these out. Just shuffled a couple of them just on their own. Oh yeah, that feels better just even like that. If I stack them, they don't immediately just slide all over the place. These are, quite honestly, some of the best sleeves I've come across in a long time. Yeah, so they're sitting on an actual slant. You can kind of see the seam of my table right here. A lot of things will just slide. These are not just slipping and sliding, which is kind of awesome. I love that. Meanwhile, we are sitting at T-minus 7 minutes, give or take a few seconds. And we'll get started with the watch party. Just as a reminder of how that's going to go, you will not be seeing the show here. Doctor Who will not be airing on your screen with me. No. You would like to not be shut down. So you're still going to log into your Disney Plus or your iPlayer if you're over in the UK. If you are, welcome. I'm going to mute myself. So again, we don't have a copyright strike from listening to my TV. We'll watch. We can keep talking in the comment section. I might say the odd thing out loud on here. We'll see. I try not to do that too much. I'm going to leave that subtle TARDIS background noise running just quiet in the background, just so you remember that we're still there. After the episode, we're going to take a couple of minutes break. Go do your business, grab a drink, and maybe we'll talk about it. It depends on how talkative you guys are by the end of the show. It is also very late for us North Americans. So if you're watching from over here, maybe you just want to go to bed. That's fine. None of my traveling TARDIS compatriots have been able to make it so far. And how well this episode does will very much depend on if we keep doing them overnight. Because overnight is, well, it sucks. I scared myself. My Disney Plus, apparently I had started Empire of Death. It's got the new season's header, but it said continue, and it said it was already in progress. And that was actually the Empire of Death episode. Whoops. That scared me more than a little bit. Still just showing it was only season 1 on here. Unsurprising. As we do still have 4 minutes left to go. So let's switch back to this view while we wait for the Doctor Who to come on. Pull out my Star Wars Unlimited. This was a deck I built only knowing a few things on it. If you really want to know more about it, there's other opportunities to learn that. But I figured I would sleeve these up while we go and just see how they feel, how they go. It is, sleeving is not the most entertaining. Hey, morning, Mark. Glad to have you in the comments. You are, of course, welcome to join us in the studio if you feel like it. But just having you in the chat is fabulous. I appreciate your existence, my good friend, and the fact that you are here. I'm just in the process, if you missed it, of sleeving some Star Wars Unlimited cards with some sleeves from Kraken Dice. So that's the company that I've been doing some of those box openings with. They've also got some deck sleeves, and they're some really nice sleeves. They've got some great texture. Honestly, they are sleeving really nicely. Like every now and then you get some sleeves that are like a pain. Same as usual. Cyborg, give me a sec here, Mark. I will get you that info. It's just the standard every Tuesday studio details, but we'll pop it in here. Looks like Christian already has popped it into the group chat, but I will pop it in as well. And there you go. Hey, Irene, welcome. Welcome. Glad to see you here. We've got about 2 minutes to go. And we'll bring the Candyman in here. Hey, Candyman.
Morning. It's too early for me.
Oh, it's too late for me. When I started this shtick, I said I just baked a bunch of cupcakes, so I would gone on a bit of a sugar high, several cupcakes and a bunch of loose icing, which is not long-lasting energy. The Candyman. I just lost all your sound. Nothing.
What about now?
There we go.
Anything?
Now you're back.
Now I'm back, yeah. It's a reverse, because normally I'm the one up late and you're the one early. And now
exactly.
I'm on this day walking lark. It's a nightmare. Right, okay. So you're looking forward to this? So they look a bit like they a bit look like, okay, from the distance I can see on the screen, they a bit look more like a Magic the Gathering.
It's Star Wars Unlimited,
Okay.
which I did do. I did a box opening of this a little while ago. It is a collectible card game, so it's a bit like Magic. You've got your defense, you've got your attack,
Yeah.
but you're getting it to attack in space or on land,
Okay.
specifically. And there's very few cards that split in between. But it is a lot of fun. And then there's some other tactics and one-off cards as well.
Do they have anything like is it a complete game or is it a collectible? You said it's collectible. So do
It's a
they have
complete game.
it's a
All
complete game?
the starter sets are you. I think they've come out with single player starter decks with the most recent Jump to Lightspeed set, but generally the starter sets are actually 2 complete pre-built decks.
Right.
So anyone can just pick that box up,
As a
grab a
starter deck.
friend, and learn to play.
But I was gonna say, if you want to expand your card collection, do they have like what the same thing with their Magic Gathering, like the Mythic, the Common, the Epic cards,
Oh yeah,
and with another for the shiny cards, which everyone likes the shiny card.
Shiny card.
Oh, yay, shiny card.
Simple shiny card, but a shiny card. All right, we're at 1:00 now, so we're just gonna see. Checking. Season 2 showing up on Disney Plus. So I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna just take this away, and we will get started again. We'll be back shortly after we watch the Robot Revolution. Of course, it restarted when I moved it to my TV. Not awkward at all. Fourth wall breaks already. Pew pew. I need a polished droid. Some classic FFX vibes there. Time machine that still doesn't have any chairs. All right, so we'll give it a couple quick minutes for people to catch up if they need to, and be right back, and we'll talk about this maybe for a minute or two, Mark.
Yeah.
All right. Nope, that's the very wrong. Oh, the camera followed me. Sit. Stay. Good camera. And we are almost back. Just trying to fight with my camera. Sounds like Candyman is fighting his way through breakfast. So, yeah, Jim said, I made a comment that there were still no chairs. I was mostly referring to the jokes from earlier episodes about that. Yeah, and Ramona points out that 10 had some really beat up seating. I've actually seen one of those seats in person. They had some of his props and some of his TARDIS stuff at Time Fracture, and so I actually I didn't sit in or anything, but
I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was watching.
It was fast paced. It was a little bit all over the place. I think I liked it.
It felt like episode one's editing bin. As in, like, what I mean by episode one, for Phantom Menace, how it was all shiny. It was like they're in a war, but it's all shiny.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing what happened with Star Wars Episode 1. Everything was so shiny and so thing. I don't know. I really don't know what to think of it. I might have to rewatch it again. I like the storyline. I think it was okay. It was a little bit suspect. And I think the 24th of May is probably when the episode ends. Is 24th of May a Saturday by any chance?
Let's take a look. See, 24th of May is in fact a Saturday. It is one. So this is episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be episode 7.
And how many episodes are there?
I think there's 8,
including today's.
including today's.
Right.
So
Okay.
and that would be, but if it's a 2-part finale,
That would make sense.
that would make a lot of sense. I have a feeling that the breakdown Easter egg people are going to be having a heyday.
Yes.
With that last scene.
Yeah. But you know that rocket which landed, that looked familiar.
Yeah.
And
Did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like, I've seen this before, but it's so shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked out of place. Do you reckon? Okay, this is just my theory. Do you reckon that special effects are getting too polished, that it's becoming not real? If you know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. We've gone full circle from from practical effects and being a little cheesy but surprisingly good to entirely unrealistically computer generated.
Yeah.
And that's not a Doctor Who thing. That's a
Yeah, that's what
entertainment society thing.
And that's what I was saying. It was like, it felt very, very much like Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
As in the like how the designs were and the it just felt like I wasn't watching Doctor Who for a little bit. It felt like I was watching like one of those Disney Star Wars episodes.
Yeah, I can get that feeling.
Had like the same sort of like clothing, had same sort of like the Star Wars theme to it, which was like, am I watching Doctor Who or am I watching Star Wars?
Right.
Especially if you watch a lot of these Disney Plus Star Wars episodes.
I will say the Polish robot definitely had that vibe.
Yeah,
and in a good way though. I mean, I want one of those. Polish. I like that. It's split the difference between Star Wars and Red Dwarf.
Well, that polish will be like R2-D2.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the little guys from Red Dwarf.
Yes, the scut droids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even if you look, you know, when Al or Alan goes back into time and he shoots that guy, he's wearing typical Jedi outfit.
Yeah.
It was like the geese, the rings, the cloak. Did you spot that at all, or did that?
I didn't notice it, but I wasn't looking for that. Ramona said shiny for the toy market. Yeah, no, you know what? I kind of had that same thought. If this was actually a Disney production, I would say 100% that's what that is. I will have to see if that's going to happen or not. Very gadget from Water of Mars. Thought it was funny. Yeah, see, I loved it. Mars. I thought it was an adorable robot. I thought it was great to have that little bit of humor. I think the only thing I didn't like was when it sucked up the little star diploma and it came out rolled up. That was a bit annoying.
But I was like that. I was like, oh, why is it just basically rolling it up? But if you think about it, if it was polishing and had little rollers in it, it would have rolled up.
It might have, yeah. Would have rolled it up in a different. It would have rolled it up the long way, not the opposite. It sucked it up the opposite from the way it rolled.
Okay, but she did go. She did go from the back. She didn't just like pull it out. You know what I mean? She literally lifted the lid up.
Yeah.
So I will give that a pass. Okay. What other bits?
There was a few I really liked, and I pulled my mic up and mentioned it. When the Doctor was kind of going through Belinda's life, when Belinda's life was flashing before his eyes, that felt very like
70s.
We're talking I was gonna say 60s, 70s era effects in that. I really liked that.
That was good. I did like
nice
that.
nod to the old stuff there. I like the Mrs. Flood fourth wall break of "you didn't see me here." It helped. It helped reinforce that something's weird with Mrs. Flood, which we already knew, but also that no, we're not next door to Ruby, right? Because they were next door neighbors previously. Well, now she's next door neighbors with Belinda. So that's something extra weird.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think that they were in this episode the AI? Do you reckon they were the writers were having a dig at people using AI there?
Oh, almost certainly.
AI generator.
Almost certainly. And in fact, it misses words, and the fact that there was no. Did you notice? I didn't count his fingers. I didn't think to count the fingers, but his hands were out of proportion, and there was no feet on Alan.
Hello. I can't. I've got dyslexia. Trying to have mathematics and doing words, every numbers.
Well, I mean that's the thing with AI art, right? It's often the proportions are wrong, and often the number of digits is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to look at and see. And when I rewatch it, I will. Alan was definitely a creep. Yep. And you can kind of tell from the beginning, but it is interesting to see where this is going to go, because it definitely set up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was better than last season's setups in that it wasn't as subtle. It was very obvious. We are setting something up here. Oi, pay attention. We are setting something up here. Not just we're just gonna keep it really simple, and if people notice it, great, and if they don't, great. But I think they made sure that it was noticeable to try and avoid some of the problems.
Yeah, I think the what's it called? No, we recently just did a review on the Traveling TARDIS with Smith and Jones.
Yes.
And now we've got Belinda as a nurse in the same sort of medical. Do you think that might be similar to what happened with David Tennant's second series?
I don't know, because I wasn't on that episode, and so I actually, when I went to go back and watch, I skipped it completely.
But
and
what I mean
straight
is
to the Shakespeare Code.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it more of the dynamics, not the actual storylines itself. But like, okay, she feels like a cross between a Martha Jones and probably
Donna,
Belinda.
I like her a lot more than I like Donna.
Right. Okay.
I've never liked Donna. I like Donna more in the 60th anniversary specials than I did any other time. But that being said, she felt a little bit like Donna in that she's a very strong-willed person, and that's not a bad thing. I loved that she called the doctor out on his BS, because he does do stuff that is she's right. He's dangerous. If he was not the good guy of a TV series, if he was an actual doctor, he'd be a Mangala. He'd be
struck off already.
Yeah. He pick a thing, right? He'd be the crazy doctor that just does whatever he wants without any regard for anybody's consent or knowledge or desires. And that he would be a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of pointed that out with way back when, even before you were part of the show, Mark, talking about the Eighth Doctor and Yi So's Kim Chang Li. Chang Li just jumped in with the Master full force, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm in. Let's do this thing. And that makes it, and that's scary. That kind of just blind jumping in faith. And it was pointed out, yeah, but that's kind of what all the companions do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because what the Doctor pulls is for
Apart from
best, but
Tegan,
not actually good.
Tegan was an accident.
Yes.
But I perfectly can see where you're coming from. But yeah, I look. The problem is it Time Lord Victorious again? Because the whole idea of what he's doing at the moment is that it's how do you say? I thought he's gone through his rehab.
I go now. That's a thing. Going through rehab is an always thing. You're never
Yes,
truly sober. You're never truly healed.
right.
You are always having to do the work, and it just gets easier, hopefully. So,
Because
yes and no.
when Sasha 55 dies,
Mhm.
he went back to like I would say like the 10th Doctor or Time Lord Victorious sort of thing, but he still was like, you know, that every episode in the last season he started to cry. He cried
Mhm.
again in this season. I don't know if the tears is a healing process or whether or not it's just trying to let it out or some sort of emotion.
I think that's both the same thing. The
Yeah,
healing and the letting it out is that's part of that. I here's your moment of personal information. I've gone through this.
right.
I've gone through the healing point where you have no control over your own emotions. I once spent a 2-hour drive bawling my eyes out for no reason.
Okay.
Um, it's a legitimate thing when healing from traumas. Um, so it's I totally get it, and this time it was a little, he's come to care for this person for 6 months. We saw it all; it was all off camera, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so it makes more sense.
But he did that in the Christmas special as well when he was spending
Yeah,
6 months with when he got stuck on Earth
yeah,
or how many years it was.
exactly. So we'll see what the non-fan boys have to say. They're going to hate most of this episode, I think. Just like the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The Doctor is the same way. Yes, that's entirely true, Jim.
Yeah, I don't like I said. I'm probably one of these typical fanboys about Doctor Who. You know I am. I love classic style, but I don't. It was like cross between watching Star Wars, Sarah Jane Adventures, and Doctor Who all mixed into one episode.
Yeah, but at least Doctor Who is in
Yeah,
there. I've been because I've been in the process of reviewing the 13th Doctor's source book. I've been going back through her episodes,
yeah.
realizing that a lot of them weren't as bad as we said, and as we on first reaction, they were bad in comparison to what had come before, especially since some of those later, that last season of Capaldi was so good
Yeah.
that they felt worse. A lot of them a lot of them missed the mark. And yes, some of the worst episodes ever are still in there. I still hate Orphan 55. Yes, I cannot stand that at all. Ironically, that episode was not written by Chris Chibnall, wasn't even co-written by him,
Okay.
which was interesting. I also noticed that, and I cannot remember her name, and I apologize, but the same writer for Demons in the Punjab
Yeah.
co-wrote one of the other ones that I really enjoyed, and I can't remember which one it is now.
See, I agree with you there. Like Demons of Punjab, it just missed the mark. That was almost like How I Want the Doctor. Like when she walked
Mhm.
away. Spoilers. When she walked away from a certain scene right at the very end.
Yeah.
In that moment, I felt like she could be the Doctor, and then she just lost. From my point of view, okay, it was like, yes, you can be the Doctor. You know, when you had to make that difficult decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah, and again, and that I think some of that came to a poorly plotted long-term story arc that Chris Chibnall likes to do that he kind of just missed the mark on,
yeah,
kind of just full stop. Most of the first season was just a little bit off, and it just felt worse than it was because of how good that
the
last season
previous
was.
season was.
Mars kind of liked him crying this episode. It felt like he genuinely understood what others when others were telling him when he kills people, hurts people. He's really seeing his impact.
I understand that if it was like done one time, like once or maybe a couple
Yeah.
of times, but he's done it every single episode
Yep.
since the By Generation, and
Almost, yeah.
yeah, I don't think he has he not cried in an episode.
Oh, I'm fairly certain it's not been every episode. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look, but I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I don't think it was every episode though. It was the majority of them,
It was majority of them.
for sure.
Maybe he's going to be nicknamed the Crying Doctor.
He's got a lot of nicknames. I'm sure, some good, some bad. I think.
Yeah, I think what I find which is missing since probably from Matt Smith and maybe Peter Capaldi eras is the Doctor's paradoxical choices he had to make. Yeah, I think in this season and last season and the season before, it's like he hasn't made a paradoxical choice. And what I mean by that, if I'm going back to classic Curse of Fenric, yeah, the Doctor was a complete asshole to Ace.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
And you saw a little bit of that come out in at Christmas.
Yeah,
you saw a little bit of that, and he felt very Sylvester McCoy, very seven in
but
that.
What I mean is, like, he had to destroy his best friend's faith, or his companion's faith in him before he can delete that. That's a paradoxical decision. Like, it's like a lose-lose situation, and I don't see that with the Doctor anymore. I don't see him where he has a lose-lose competition thing.
Yeah,
he just like he just does it. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, if I do this, I'm going to lose this. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to lose that. I think that might be what's missing from.
Yeah, that would be something for sure.
Like, the stakes are not as high as they used to be.
Yeah. Mars agrees the crying's overdone at this point, but if it only been done this episode and a couple others, it would have worked.
Yeah,
I can get behind that. I can get behind that argument. Certainly.
Yeah.
So we are coming up on the 90-minute mark.
Okay. No, I'm the Candyman Mark.
Yeah. Your breakfast is almost ready, and it's.
I can smell the sausages and the baked beans and.
Yeah, and it's 2:15 in the morning for me. So,
this is what I mean. I get it because 2:45 in the morning. It's switched.
Yep. I've got 2 shows today,
Right.
in the real world, not online world. So I think I'm going to call it for now.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable. A little after 4 a.m. here, so I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Good night, Jim. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for.
We'll see you again next week, I hope.
People in North America who's been staying up to like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, exactly. In theory, I think I've convinced Christian to run a second watch party at the equivalent of 10 minutes to 5. No, 10 minutes to 6.
7, I think. I think it's 6:50. I think it comes on.
I thought it was 5:50.
I will double check for you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll double check the time, but I think that when it basically concurrent with the the television broadcast on BBC One, we may have another watch party with a slightly different crew of people. And of course, we will be doing a full review on this on Tuesday on the Robot Revolution. And
It is 1850, 10 to 7.
1850. Okay, I could have sworn it was 1750 when they originally looked.
Yeah, it's always been 10 to 7.
All right, well, there we go. So we'll make sure Christian knows that, and if you want to watch it again, that would be a great opportunity for you to do so. Great timing for that. Just do your math on your timing from there. And other than that,
okay, yep, that's 1850 British summertime. Just
yes,
in case people.
Exactly. So yes, and then work your math back from there, depending on what time zone you are, and
or forward if you're in Australia.
Or forward if you're in Australia. This is true, and that is hopefully, if audience numbers stay going, that's hopefully what we will continue to do. Is I'll be up late night doing these. I know there's at least 2 out of the next 3 weeks that I'm not available during the day. And one evening where it's going to be really rough. There will be no discussion on the 26th. That is already going to be an 18-hour day for me.
Or what, 26th of April?
Yeah, so in 2 weeks. Yep. That's the Calgary Comics and Entertainment Expo weekend. And that weekend is one of the busiest weekends, because that is one of the top, not quite top 10, but it's top 15 sized events in North America. So it's a big event.
I know you've been really, really busy, okay, and it may be worth. I'll speak to you offline about something.
All right. Sounds like a plan. In the meantime, Ramona, thank you. Have yourselves a great night/morning. And yeah, we'll call this tonight, and we'll see some of you back maybe in another 8 hours or so, and the rest of you will hopefully see on Tuesday.
Yep. See you later, guys. Have fun.
Have a good one. Let's do the whole closing thing, because we should. I just have to hit the button. Where's the button? Where's the button? Do we have it set as an outro? We should have it set. We don't have it set as an outro video.
You can't find the red button. You can't find the red button, can you, Dave?
No, I can't find the button, but I'm going to change it so that I don't have to find the button anymore. Now you just have to hit end of stream like this. No, like this.